Hi friends, very good evening all of you. We are discussing part 1 section E, internal controls in CMA USA. And at the flag end of my previous class, if you remember, I have given you a brief introduction of Sarbanes-Oxley Act. So the Sarbanes-Oxley Act is the result of various corporate scams which have shook the global economy, not only in US, but it affected the global economy. Not only the economy, it also created a lot of impact on the trust, you call it, or the belief system, or to what extent a common man or an investor in stock markets believes the company and the financial reporting system and audits. So, because of this corporate frauds like Enron, WorldCom, and this kind of companies, Lehman Brothers, there are so many instances in the past where the amount of trust with which a common man invests money in the share market, the trust factor has come down. So to reinstate the trust, there are so many provisions of Sarbanes-Oxley Act given for external auditors, for to be the management of the company to be more responsible. The CEO, CFO are more responsible now towards internal controls on financial reporting, and to prevent and detect frauds and errors. And also there are restrictions on the external auditors to perform certain other services for auditee clients which are given in section 201. And also PCAOB was established, and they exercise certain regulatory controls on the profession, on this stock market related stakeholders as well. So in the last class 201, we have already seen what is 201. It is prohibition of certain services. If you are the auditor of a company, you are not supposed to render the following to the same client. That means, can I be internal auditor? Yes, but if I am already external auditor to X Limited, to the same company, I cannot be internal auditor. So please try to understand that these are not prohibited services for a chartered accountant or public accountant who is in practice. It is not that a CA should not engage in this 11. It is not that a CPA should not engage in this 11. But if you are performing external audit of an entity, for that auditee client, what is that? If I am auditor, you are my client, I am conducting audit of you, you are auditee client. So for auditee clients, rendering these services is prohibited. What are they? Bookkeeping services, like you cannot prepare books of account of your client if you are conducting audit. It creates self-review threat. It creates conflict of interest. You cannot prepare their financial statements. You cannot help them in compilation of financial information. You cannot help them in developing financial systems and internal controls. You cannot be their internal auditor. You cannot render certain human resource services. You cannot render their payroll or outsourced services. You cannot be their internal auditor. You cannot be their legal advisor. So these are the prohibitions. You understand? So this is 201. Then comes 203, audit partner rotation. What is 203? Audit partner rotation. Headings are also important. What is 201? Section 201 speaks about services outside the scope and practice of auditors. Auditors not to render certain services. 203 speaks about audit partner rotation. What is this? For every 5 years, there should be a rotation of lead audit partners. What is that? Let us read the section. It requires that lead audit partners rotate off engagements every 5 years, but after 1 year off, they can return to the engagement. The lead audit partner and the concurring review audit partner must rotate off a particular client's audit after 5 years. They must then remain off that audit for another 5 years. Other audit partners who are part of the engagement team must rotate off after 7 years and remain off for 2 years if they meet certain criteria. Now the student will ask, Pawan sir, what is this, Pawan sir? Now see, it is simple. If you are the auditee, if I am the auditor, I am conducting audit of your company or your books of account. Initially, I'll be very strict. Over a period, what happens? We'll become friends. I'm conducting your audit for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So imagine 5th year we have become close friends. Then what happens? first year if there are irregularities, I will be very harsh, firm, strong and professional on you. I will be very professional. This is wrong. So I'll bluntly say this is not the way the books should be recorded. This is an irregularity. This is not a proper accounting policy. This is not a proper accounting estimate. So I'll tell you clearly that this is not correct. Then what happens? Over a period, imagine we are together for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. There will be something called familiarity. There will be something called familiarity. Sir, to eliminate this familiarity threat, what are we supposed to do? If I am conducting audit of your company, 5 years, if I have conducted 5 years, if I am lead audit partner, after 5 years, I need to take a break and I am not supposed to conduct your audit for the next 5 years. This 5 years is called cooling period. That means 5 years of audit I have done. 5 years of audit I have done. After that 5 years cooling period. That means next 5 years some other audit partner will perform the audit. I will not do. Pawan will not do. Pawan has conducted audit of X Limited for 5 years. After that next 5 years Pawan will be in cooling period. Some other Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C will conduct audit. After that again I can come back as audit partner. So this 5 years of cooling period will help to protect independence and it will avoid something called familiarity threat. There will be no familiarity threat because you and I are friends now. You will do something wrong. I will not shut my mouth because of our friendship. So 5 years you can do audit. After that 5 years cooling period, again you can do audit for 5 years. So this is called cooling period, audit partner rotation. Other audit partners, other engagement team. For example, you know Pawan is engagement partner. Under Pawan, one audit team leader will be there, audit manager. Under him, some 10 members of engagement team will be there. Engagement team members also, other audit partners who are in engagement team, they also must rotate after 7 years and 2 years criteria cooling period will be there for them. Actually, because you are doing CMA, you are supposed to be management accountants. Audit rotation and rotation of audit partners is not given exhaustively for you. They have given only 2 paras for this, only just 2 lines. But if you are doing CPA or CA, audit partner rotation is a big chapter. So we'll discuss almost for 2-3 hours about this. So because you are going to be management accountants, you are not going to be auditors. This is not primary importance for you. Just remember these 2 provisions, that is enough. If you are lead audit partner, that means if you are the chief person who is signing the audit report, 5 years work, 5 years rotation. If you are engagement team, 7 years work, 2 years rotation. That's all. Okay, if you are main audit partner, 5 years work, 5 years rotation. If you are other person who is involved in the audit but you are not the main person, other audit partner, 7 years you can continue. After the 2 years rotation, again you can continue working in that company as auditor. This is 203. Then 302. So who is responsible for preparation of financial statements? Tell me. Who is responsible for preparation of financial statements? If your company has CFO, CFO is responsible. If your company has CEO, CEO is responsible for everything. For whole and soul, CEO is responsible. So CEO and CFO have to accept the responsibility to discharge their accountability. They should attest. Attestation means certify and give. Certify and give. So Pawan sir, what they are supposed to certify? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points are given. That 1, they have reviewed the financial statement. 2, to their knowledge, the financial statements do not contain material inaccuracies and fairly present the financial position of the company. 3, they are responsible for internal controls. I am responsible for internal controls. They have designed internal controls that are adequate to ensure financial reporting integrity. They have evaluated and opined regarding the effectiveness of internal control, effectiveness within 90 days of the report. They have disclosed to the auditors and audit committee significant changes in internal controls, all known frauds and significant internal control deficiencies and weaknesses. So there are 6 points. On the 6 points, CFO, CEO have to attest and submit it to stock exchanges. Submit it to stock exchanges. Pawan sir, what are these 6 points, Pawan sir? You read this 6 point once, read the 6 points once, I'll explain again. I'll give you 1 minute of time. You read this, I'll explain again. So imagine I am CFO of a company. Imagine I am CEO of a company. What I have to attest, point number one, I have reviewed financial statements. Tomorrow, if some fraud or mistake happens in financial statements, I will not say, oh my god, is it there is a fraud? I don't know. I have not reviewed. Don't do overaction. You have to give it in writing that I am the CFO of Exin Corporation. I have reviewed the financial statements. Point number one. Point number two, to the best of my knowledge, financial statements do not contain any material inaccuracies. Financial statements fairly present the financial position of the company to the best of my knowledge. That means I have reviewed to the best of my knowledge. I am not concealing anything. I am not hiding anything. There are no material inaccuracies in financial statements. All the financial statements fairly present our position. This is point number two. Point number three, I am the CEO, CFO. We are responsible for internal controls. We have designed internal controls adequate to ensure financial reporting integrity. We have evaluated, opined, that means in our opinion, the internal controls are working effectively. Then we have disclosed to the auditors, to the audit committee. To the auditors, I am CFO. To the auditor, I have disclosed. To the audit committee, I have disclosed. What did I disclose? Any known frauds, any significant weaknesses in internal controls, any changes in internal controls. There is a deficiency in internal control. I am CFO. I informed external auditor. I informed audit committee. There is any fraud, I informed internal audit, I informed external auditor, I informed audit committee. There are changes in the internal controls. I informed auditor, I informed audit committee. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are my responsibilities. I have done that and I am giving attestation under penalty of law. That means if there is a failure, if there is a mistake, I am liable for penalties, prosecution, whatever it is. This is 302. Now imagine how vigilant CEO, CFO should be, because you are giving it in writing, attesting and giving to stock market. Tomorrow something is wrong, you will be arrested. 302. Then 404. Management assessment of internal controls and the independent auditor's attestation to management's assessment of internal controls. Read this. This is also responsibility of CEO, CFO. Read this. So what is this? This para contains 2 steps. Step 1, corporate officers, that means CEO and CFO, step 1, they have to certify annually that management is responsible. We are responsible for establishing and maintaining adequate internal control over financial reporting. Point number 2, we have implemented the controls, we assessed the controls, we tested the controls to their effectiveness, and they are running properly. Next step is external independent auditor will verify, and he also will certify, yes, management has given this certificate, they are correct. I also verified controls, they are fine. That is this 404. You understand? Read 404 once. So we'll go back to this Foreign Corrupt Practices Act 1977. Some legislatory requirements. Why? See, we are speaking about US law, United States. US, what happens? US economy is considered to be the big brother for the whole world. US economy is considered to be the big brother for whole world. If you are located in one country, you doing projects in another country is possible. But if you are a US company, you doing projects with other governments is definitely possible. Because the US companies, so many US companies are MNCs, no? They are there everywhere. For example, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, big companies. So in 1977, in US Senate, we call Parliament in India, they call it Senate. In US Senate, they passed one act by name Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. The primary objective of this Foreign Corrupt Practices Act to curb bribery. So if you are US company, giving bribe to any other country government to obtain projects is illegal and it should be prohibited. So bribery and all should be prohibited. There are penalties. So you should maintain proper books of account. You should have proper evidences, proofs. These kind of few requirements are there here. Okay, so let us see this. Okay, read this. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act forbids an American company doing business overseas from paying bribes to foreign government for obtaining contracts. That means if you are an American company, don't bribe any other government or even US government also for that matter. Don't give bribe to other country governments to obtain contracts. That is illegal. So what is step 1? Do not acquire business, do not obtain business, do not get contracts by bribing money. This is step 1. Step 2. FCPA is an American law that targets international corruption. Born out of revelations in the mid-1970s that number of US companies had emerged in corruption overseas. Many companies, they voluntarily agreed that yes, we are bribing money in other countries to get contracts. Then US thought it is prestige issue, unlawful act. The FCPA prohibits bribery of foreign officials and requires certain accounting measures that make it more difficult to mask corrupt payments. You understand? So usually what you do, you have given 1 lakh rupees to income tax officer. So that income tax officer will not speak anything about your income tax fraud. That 1 lakh rupees, what will you write? You will write to miscellaneous expenses. Whom you paid? Income tax officer. But what you are writing to office expenses, to housekeeping services, printing and stationery purchased. So some dummy account you will write. Because you cannot write in your financial statements bribe paid to income tax officer. Can you write? No, you'll be arrested. Not only taking bribe, giving bribe is also an offense now, isn't it? So look here. The FCPS anti-bribery provisions restrict payments and gifts to foreign government officials, political parties, candidates for public office. Those provisions apply to any US person committing bribery abroad and any person regardless of nationality committing bribery within US territory. Person includes corporations. Person includes other business organizations also. Pawan sir, the word person is used there. I am not a person, I am partnership firm, I am a company, I am a corporation, I am a society, I am a trust. The act said, don't do overaction. The word person includes corporations and other business organizations also. To establish a violation which can be punishable by both criminal and civil remedies, the government must prove 1. The defendant used a means of interstate commerce, for example, telephone, internet or mail. That means evidence should be available either in the form of email or telephonic conversation or internet. Why? If government is claiming that, Pawan, you did something wrong, you paid $1 million to acquire contract, I'll arrest you. So first prove through a telephone, through internet, through email or through any other media of communication that I did that. 1. 2. The defendant offered to pay anything of value to a foreign official. Defendant means, if there is allegation on me, I am the defendant. In court of law, there will be two parties, plaintiff, defendant. Plaintiff means I said Navya did this wrong. So I am the person who is putting some allegations on you. You are the person defending it. So you are defendant. I am plaintiff. I am putting allegation on you. You are defendant. So the defendant, that means if US government is saying, Pawan, you did this, I am defendant. Government has to prove that Pawan offered to pay some value, anything of value to foreign official or to a political party or to some other person. Those terms are defined broadly. For example, employees of state-owned companies like public university or state-owned utility qualify as foreign official under FCPA. That means I have given bribe to some government official or to some foreign official. That is what US government has to prove to take any action on me. 3. The defendant knowingly, that means Pawan knowingly, corruptly, willfully, that means not out of innocence, intentionally, knowingly, corruptly, willfully, voluntarily, sought to influence official to act or to secure an improper advantage. Bribing. I know that I cannot get this advantage, but by bribing, I am getting it. I know that I cannot get the license, but giving bribe, I am getting the license. This is what. That said, the FCPA exempts certain payments. There are certain payments which are allowed. Some maintenance payments and all which are allowed. Or maybe some petty payments and all which are allowed. So, payments that are lawful under written local law, reasonable bona fide. Bona fide means with a good intention. Mala fide means with a wrong intention. Malicious intention. Bona fide means with good intention. Mala fide means with wrong intention. I am giving some money with good intention, which is allowed under local law. I am doing this in California. As per the state, where this California, this company is located, or as per the law enforced in California, this kind of payments are allowed. And I have given it in bona fide. Then there is no problem. Some might be surprised to learn that facilitating or grease payments, some liaison fee, a very limited category of payments required to secure routine government actions like police protection, processing of application, are also exempt from law. Sir, I want to take police protection. That is the reason I gave this amount to police. That is allowed. Some facilitation charges are, they call it in US grease payments. Grease payments. To smoothen the process. Why do we use grease? To smoothen the process. Those kind of payments are exempted. No problem. You understand? So there are certain restrictions as to books of account also. These many years books of account to be maintained and all are also there in FCPA. Then comes our next discussion, PCAOB. What is this? So tell me, what is PCAOB? In every country, there will be one regulatory authority who regulates profession of chartered accountancy. In India, these statutory auditors are known as chartered accountants. In US, they are called AICPA, CPA. In Australia also CPA is there. In UK also ICAEW, Chartered Accountants by name. ICAEW stands for Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. You take Pakistan, Chartered Accountants are there. ICAP we call, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan. You take Sri Lanka, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka is there. Then you take Institute of Chartered Accountants of Australia, ICAANZ. ICAA, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Australia. NZ is New Zealand. So that means every country has statutory auditors, correct? Every country has statutory auditors. Now imagine in India, statutory auditors by name Pawan Kumar and Company is there. Pawan Kumar and Company. Who will control Pawan Kumar and Company? Chartered accountants, correct? ICAI. Pawan Kumar is a chartered accountant. ICAI controls. Now, if Pawan Kumar has done something wrong, or Pawan Kumar and Company has done something wrong, you are my client. Say, for example, Navya is a company. Navya paid 10 lakh rupees to Pawan Kumar. Pawan Kumar, imagine, such good God, forbid. Pawan Kumar did not do work properly. Then what is the option available to Navya? She went to a police station and she filed a complaint. Sir, Pawan Kumar bolke, there is one chartered accountant, sir. He did not do audit properly, sir. He has taken 10 lakh rupees from me, sir. Professional negligence, sir. He has not exercised professional care, sir. So I want to complain, sir. Then in police station, police officer say, Navya madam, this kind of cases, you cannot come to police station or normal civil courts. For them, professional regulatory authorities are there. For them, professional regulatory authorities are there. Why don't you go and complain in ICAI? So she went to Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and she made a written complaint. ICAI will take action on me. Now, Navya has got one doubt. One is a very influential guy in CA community. In ICAI also, all the officers are chartered accountants, no? What if all of them are friends? Possible, no? What if all of them are friends? Then Navya is thinking, do I have any other option, any other professional body, private, autonomous organization which has no connection with ICAI? If they can control Pawan, how beautiful the system would be. Navya thought like this. Can I get some independent regulatory authority, autonomous body who's legally, statutorily, constitutionally established and who can catch the neck of the Pawan and ask, hey, did you do this? Navya is thinking, how beautiful the system would be. In India, NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority, is recently constituted. In US, it is PCAOB. What is that? Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. So look here, PCAOB stands for Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. Now, student will ask, sir, what is PCAOB, sir? Read, para is given. I have opened PCAOB official website. The PCAOB is a non-profitable corporation established by Congress. Congress is not a party, their government. To oversee the audits of public companies, that means to look after audit of public companies in order to protect investors. Like Navya, so many people invested money in some companies. PCAOB will try to protect the interest of investors and further public interest also. Investor interest, public interest. Sir, how do you do that, sir? How do you do that? By, in the interest of preparation of informative, accurate, independent audit reports. So what are they? Informative, accurate, independent audit reports. So audit report must be independent. Audit report must be accurate. Audit report must contain all the information. So PCAOB will look after that the audit reports given by Pawan Kumar or Pawan Kumar and Company or any other audit firm, any other CPA is accurate, independent and informative. That means basically they control the quality of audits. What is that? Basically they control the quality of audits. The PCAOB also oversees the audit of brokers and dealers. Who are they? Stock brokers. Brokers and dealers means stock market brokers, stock market dealers. Public company, no? So if you want to buy Reliance shares, you want to buy Reliance Industry shares, can you buy? Yes. How will you buy? Demat account. So you will buy it through one stockbroker. Without stockbroker, directly you cannot buy Reliance Industry shares. Directly you cannot buy Reliance Industry shares from Reliance Industries. You have to buy it through stockbroker. Including compliance reports filed pursuant to federal security law. In India also we have security law. SERA, S-E-R-A, Securities Contract Regulation Act. Security law basically means stock market related law. So whether you are complying with the provisions of stock market laws, that is the point. You understand? Now PCAOB has 4 duties. How many? There are 4 main objectives. What are they? 1. Register public accounting firms. Register public accounting firms that prepare audit reports for issuers. What is issuers? Issuer means issuer of equity share. Infosys, Reliance, Microsoft, Facebook, Google. Whenever they issue shares, they are known as issuer. Infosys issued shares. Infosys is known as issuer. Brokers and dealers. Now, PCAOB is there. Accounting firm is there. Accounting firm. Who is this accounting firm? Pawan Kumar and Company. Accounting and auditing firm. Now PCAOB asking, hey Pawan, come here. Sir, tell me sir, you are conducting audit of any company that issued equity shares, sir? Yes sir. You have conducted audit of any stock broker or stock exchange dealer? Yes sir. Right. First you come and register with PCAOB. Without obtaining registration from PCAOB, if you are conducting accounting and auditing services to issuer of shares and other securities, stock brokers, it is illegal. So all the audit firms have to go to PCAOB, stand in the queue and say, sir, my name is Pawan Kumar. I have Pawan Kumar and Company Chartered Accountants firm, sir. I am AICPA member, sir. I am CPA, sir. I am conducting audit of this company, sir. I am doing accounting services, sir. Sir, please register my firm, sir. So they will enter Pawan Kumar and Company name in their registration documents. Then they'll give one registration certificate. Lelo, license. Now you are under my surveillance. So step 1 is public accounting firms must register with PCAOB. 2. Establish or adopt auditing and related attestation standards. In India, SA are there, standards on auditing. Globally, ISA, international standards on auditing are there. Globally. In India, standards on audit. Globally, international standards on audit. Globally, international standards on audit. Similarly, in US also, auditing standards are there. US GAS and US GAAP, we call generally accepted accounting principles is one. Generally accepted audit procedures. That is also, abbreviation is GAAP only. GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. Another GAAP is generally accepted auditing procedures. So they are developing auditing standards, other attestation standards, quality control standards, ethics, independent standards. So PCAOB is saying, dear Pawan, you are auditor, no? Yes sir. Follow this ethics. Okay sir. Follow these quality control standards. Okay sir. You need to put this kind of quality control review system. Okay sir. Pawan, you need to follow these standards in auditing. Pawan, you need to follow these other assurance engagement standards. Then PCA will be saying, Pavan, unless you follow all these things, I will throw you out of the profession. You cannot conduct audit of big companies. The second one. Third point, inspect registered firms. Who are registered firms? In step 1, all firms are registered, no? So in that registered firm, what is the quality control system of the audit? Whether they have done audit properly or no, I will inspect. PCAOB will inspect the quality controls followed by this audit firms. 4, investigate. Oh my God. That means you are a kind of judiciary body. You are police, you are judge. You can investigate. Disciplinary mechanism. You can say, Pavan, you are suspended. You can say, Pavan, I will put you in jail. Pavan, pay $10 million penalty. You are the authority. PCAOB is the authority. Who gave the power? US Senate, Congress gave the power to them. They will investigate, discipline public accounting firms and their associated persons for violation of law, rules and professional standards. That's all. So basically, PCAOB is a professional regulatory body. This accounting firms, auditing firms neck is in the hands of PCAOB. This also came after our, Enron and all this kind of stuff. The importance of PCAOB increased. So read these 4 points. Or even if you copy this content, I'll appreciate more. You can copy this content or you can just read this. Or maybe, I have typed in Google, what are the objectives of PCAOB or PCAOB US, PCAOBUS.org. You can open that website and you can read this whenever you want. What is this? PCAOB US.org. PCAOB United States.org. This is the website. This is the website. So you can read it anytime you want. So foreign corrupt practices we have done. Now look here. So let us move on to next topic. Next topic is external auditors responsibilities. All of you read this para yourself. I'll give you 2 minutes of time. Read this para, then we'll start discussion. Okay, write down. In your notes, put the heading external auditors responsibilities. Write down external auditors responsibilities. Under that, write down from the point of view of independence, audits are broadly classified into 2. From the point of view of independence, audits are broadly classified into 2. They are next line, A, external audit, hyphen external audit hyphen done from the point of view of shareholders. External audit hyphen done from the point of view of shareholders. Next line, B. Internal audit. A. External audit, which is done from the point of view of shareholders. B. Internal audit. Internal audit. Hyphen done from the point of view of management. Done from the point of view of management. Point number 2. Point number 2. External auditor plays the role of external auditor plays the role of external auditor plays the role of a judge, plays the role of a judge, whereas internal auditor plays the role of a police. External auditor plays the role of a judge. Internal auditor plays the role of a police. External auditor, judge. Internal auditor, police. Point number 3. Point number 3. The primary responsibility of external auditor the primary responsibility of external auditor is next line, A, to plan and perform audit. A, to plan and perform audit with an attitude of professional skepticism. Plan and perform audit with an attitude of professional skepticism. Plan and perform audit with an attitude of professional skepticism. B. In order to obtain A, to plan and perform audit with an attitude of professional skepticism. B, in order to obtain reasonable assurance. In order to obtain reasonable assurance. Reasonable assurance as to whether the financial statements are free from material error or material misstatement. Material error or misstatement. In the next line, put the heading professional skepticism. Professional skepticism. Under the try down, it refers to professional skepticism. Underline, it refers to an attitude of, critical evaluation of evidence. An attitude of critical evaluation of evidence. An attitude of critical evaluation of evidence. And critical evaluation of evidence and critical thinking Next line, reasonable assurance. Underline, reasonable assurance. Underline, reasonable assurance. Reasonable assurance. Under the trade down, external auditor obtains and expresses. External auditor obtains and expresses. External auditor obtains and expresses reasonable assurance on financial statements. Obtains and expresses reasonable assurance on financial statements. Full stop. Reasonable assurance is a high degree, a high level. Reasonable assurance is a high level positive assurance. Reasonable assurance is a high level positive assurance. High level positive assurance. Which is given by the auditor, in the form of opinion, in the form of auditor's opinion, in the form of auditor's opinion. In the form of auditor's opinion. Next point. You can continue numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can write it like a next para. The external auditor presents an opinion. The external auditor presents an opinion on next line A whether the financial statements whether the financial statements are presented fairly, in all material aspects or respect. Whether financial statements are presented fairly in all material aspects. Whether the financial statements are presented fairly in all material aspects. Okay. Next line B. How well the company's management has maintained effective internal control over financial reporting. Next point, last point. The auditor has no responsibility. Auditor has no responsibility to make recommendations or suggestions to the client. About operation of business. To make recommendations or suggestions to the client about operation of the business. Okay, you're done with that. So in the whole topic what we are discussing, there are only two small questions that are still pending. They are: one, types of audit report, unmodified and modified reports are there, and audit risk, inherent risk, control risk, and detection risk. There are three types of audit risks are there, three components of audit risks. So if we discuss this question number 1 and question number 2, whatever is appearing on the board, my role and my syllabus for this particular part is over. After that, based on the requirement, I might be dealing with some US GAAP accounting related concepts, or maybe I'll take care of the budgeting or costing part or financial management part. That is a different story. But as far as This audit and internal control topic, whatever I am handling now, there are only two more topics. They are types of audit report and audit risk. These two are very small topics. We'll look, we'll learn this two, we'll discuss this two in the next session. For this session, the topic is over. If you have any doubts, you ask me. So do you understand the topics we have discussed today? Do you have any doubts?